You're the Time Slinger.
What do you need?
Documents need to be destroyed.
If you know anything about time travel, then you know that anything you touch in the past affects the future.
Time Slinger is about a guy who can travel through time and uses it for financial gain. Companies will hire him to erase mistakes they've made. We allude to the watch quite a bit in the film, not just to trick the main villain, but to also have the audience believe that that's what we're using as the device that Billy, the main character, uses for time travel. I was developing a whole bunch of short ideas and feature ideas, because Time Slinger could either be a short or a feature. Did it as a short because, not just to test the waters, but really just because I felt like I came up with an idea that I thought would work well for a short. The thing about time travel that isn't always brought up in fiction or really explored is the side effects. There's going to be psychological side effects, possibly physical side effects. In the film, I compare it to going through space. So if astronauts go through space, there's a little bit of bone density that gets lost in the human body. So I thought that time travel would do something similar. I just figure that it adds some conflict for the character, and just, power isn't always perfect. The quest for power, there's always going to be a catch.
You know that anything you touch in the past affects the future.
I think one of the most difficult things was deciding what weapon the bodyguard should use. Mark Ramjohn, who plays the bodyguard, has sort of an extendable baton. And there was, for a whole month, I was racking my brain of which weapon we were going to use. Because it's a low-budget short, you don't want to expose a non-authentic prop. Unless you have some really clever ways of hiding the fact that it's not a real, say you use a gun. If it doesn't look authentic, then it can take people right out.
And I need that prevented. Are you the man for that?
Actor Jimmy, who just happened to bring it on set, so that worked out perfectly. Yeah, Nick Biscubeck plays Billy, the main character. We have worked together on several projects, 2 of my feature films, and a few shorts. And yeah, it's great working with him because he does his homework, he's ready to go, always has ideas. And it was great that he took on the co-producing role, because that was a huge weight off my shoulders, so I could focus more on the directing aspects. So he helped with locations. We originally had Nick playing the antagonist, but when one of the actors we had originally cast as Billy couldn't do it, we switched things around, and Nick suggested Jimmy as the antagonist, and can have that intimidating presence. Dave Ford, who was our DOP and sound recorder, and he did a lot to make sure that this film had a more professional feel, especially compared to, I was doing a lot of things myself, more of necessity and circumstance than by choice. When you're an independent filmmaker and you're still trying to, build up, practice, and do your thing, it can be very difficult, and you end up doing almost everything yourself. Like I've had projects where I'll be the camera guy and the actor, and then still slate and record sound and everything else, so it was great to have that help. So then once we're filming, I could just watch the actors. I believe in rehearsals, not all the time, and I think different actors have different styles and different scenes that need different approaches. I think for dialogue-heavy scenes, key scenes that maybe, I think, say you're having a dialogue scene and it's involving the inciting incident of the film. So if you rehearse it to a thing where the blocking of it, what's going to happen, where the actors are going, then they can play with it more. Yeah, Time Slinger was something I actually came up with, after I saw Inception. That really became an inspiration for it. And then the Bond films. Mark's bodyguard character was actually quite inspired by a lot of henchmen in Bond films. Now, I just saw Spectre, like a week before we filmed. And then the fight scene in Skyfall with the blue background, they're in silhouettes. That that kind of inspired the fight scene. In a short, you can only explore so much. So I really wanted to just show the antagonist finding a way how he's going to trap the main character, Billy. However, because Billy travels back and forth through time, he always will find a way to escape. But you do want to raise the stakes a bit to make people think, oh, okay, he might not get out this time.